4, 3, 2, 1. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up.
What is up, my lovely fam? How y'all living today? We are back with another episode of FabuLex Makeup, and today I am featuring my favorite method of achieving the cleanest cut crease without using concealer. I know it's a crazy concept, but it is doable if you keep watching. And if you are a new member of the Fab Fam, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join the Fab Fam craziness up in here. And if you are a returning member to this craziness, welcome back, lovely. It's good to see y'all. Stay tuned. Y'all have been showing the love constantly throughout the last couple months, and I am so happy to be back and ready to slice and slay with y'all yet again. So to start off, I used some Kat Von D pomade in the shade Walnut, and then to clean it up, I'm using Femme Couture. This is just a full coverage concealer. I don't think they sell this anymore. This is from a local beauty supply store. And then for the eyeshadow base, I'm using the NYX eye base in Skin Tone, applying that all over the lid, making sure that is evenly blended out with a finger before setting out with a powder. The setting powder I've been using lately is the Airspun setting powder. It's loose setting powder. It's translucent as well. And I actually have been loving this. At first, when I was using it, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this, y'all. Y'all recommended it, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing with it. But it's grown on me, y'all. And I'm about to feature some of my favorites up in here because of it. Speaking of favorites, this is the Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette from Coastal Scents. I found this on Amazon a long time ago. This was back when I started my channel. Yes, I've had this palette that long. No shade, no hate. I've been loving this palette, y'all. They just blend so easily, and they last a while, even though they're just little tiny little eyeshadow compartments. But I started off with a very light mint, almost turquoise greenish blue as a transition shade, and then on top of that I just used a pure royal blue almost on top of that with a pencil brush to blend it in, and then I took a fluffy clean brush to blend those two colors together. And then what I did was took that same pencil brush and took a darker I believe it was a navy blue, and took that a little bit lower than the natural blue, so you can see I'm sticking that right in the fold of the crease. And then as I went along, I wanted it to get darker and darker and have a little more depth in the crease area, so I went ahead and stuck in a dark indigo that almost had just a slight bit of purple, but not enough to change it from a purple to a blue. It was very blue. All right, so the moment y'all been waiting for, this is the 020 Custom Enhancer Drops. It's a lot like the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. This is in the shade Light Copper. These are basically liquid highlighter drops, and I decided to use this because 1, liquid, 2, highlighter. It's going to create some reflection. It worked really well as a concealer, like a liquid highlighted concealer. I wasn't expecting it to do so. I was just kind of like crossing my fingers. I just knew I wanted some extra highlighted pigment behind the yellow shimmer that I also got from the Coastal Scents palette. And I knew that it would stick because you want to stick your highlight on top of that, y'all. You know you do. Because look at this, y'all. Look at how that yellow eyeshadow just hugs on it and just pops. It's just glorious, and you can definitely keep it clean. Just want to keep it packed on. Don't smudge too much. It's not going to mess it up, but if you want that shimmer to be opaque, pack it on like it ain't no more tomorrow. Right, for eyeliner, I'm using my favorite felt tip liquid liner from NYX. This is the Epic Ink Liner in black. It's so easy to use, y'all. It is fluid, it is pigmented, it goes over glitter, goes over shimmer, goes over matte, and it dries matte, and it pops in photos. I don't know what it is about it, but you could see this liner from a mile away in photos. So I'm using some 8-in-1 foundation from Milani in the shade Chestnut and Tan. Just the middle mix just because I was using tan for the longest time, and for some reason lately it just hasn't been matching my skin tone. So I decided to use a little bit of a darker shade foundation, and it worked out perfectly for me because thankfully Milani foundations don't have too much of an orange tint and not too much of a yellow tint. It's just a nice neutral melanin cocoa skin shade. I am going for that flawless skin today, so I'm using a very, very light layer of the Airspun translucent powder all over the face to set the foundation before going on with concealer. I know this freaks some people out, but there is just enough powder that you can use that doesn't make your concealer cake on the top when you're putting it on. So as you can see, I'm putting on some concealer just on top of this in the highlighted parts of my face, and I let it sit and let it warm up to the skin just so that it melts and blends a little bit easier with my sponge, because I wasn't using a damp sponge. I was using my, infamous dry sponge. So what I'm doing now is creating some artificial lighting with a lighter concealer on top. Not taking too much of this. I'm not putting this all over the same area because that would create some cake. We ain't doing that today. So I'm putting it in just some of the areas I want the light, in darker lit areas to pop a little bit more. So the smaller parts of my forehead, the little inner corners of the eyes, the tip part of the nose, and the tip part of the chin. And then I blend it all very, very, very lightly all the way out. More blending on the outer edges of my concealer these days rather than blending all over the concealer. That way I'm keeping the pigments separate from, highlight and contour and a little bit of the foundation. So it keeps everything the way you want it to as you applied it. And we're gonna go ahead and set this with powder. I ain't baking today, but I am making sure that concealer don't go nowhere. I went ahead and zoomed in just a little bit for y'all so you could see that we aren't looking cakey at all at the moment. Our skin still looks like, we still have that light layer of foundation and concealer on, even though we have that first layer of powder on first and then another layer of concealer and then powder. So you don't have to freak out. There's a way to do this, and there's a method to my madness. As y'all know, it all works out in the end. Now for a light contour around the cheekbone area, I'm using Becca Cosmetics Maui Lights Radiant Bronzer. This actually has a slight red tint, so I used it to mimic a little bit of the blush, so I did take it up a little bit higher than I would with my regular bronzer, just as an act of faux blush, I guess, because I don't ever usually wear blush. So I was like, well, I forgot this has red tint, so you know what, we're gonna blend it up just a little bit and hug them cheekbones. Now, in all honesty, y'all, I could have done a way better job of contouring that nose, but I was speeding through it, and I tried to blend it out with the remaining powder to cover up all that hot mess, and it kind of melted out, and I tried to ignore it. So anyway, moving on, we cut under these cheekbones with some of that translucent powder. That is where we are baking today, just because I was being extra. I just wanted the extra cuttage on the face. And then for the highlight, this is the Tartiest Glow Kit. Oh, y'all, this just is butter on the skin. I get so many compliments when I wear this highlight. It just drops everybody to the knees. It's one of my favorite palettes to use to highlight. It's a natural, but it has that reflection of water and happiness. Ooh, yeah. And by the time you finish applying your glazed donut, you go ahead and dust the rest of that powder off, blend it away so it all becomes one with the face. So moving on to a little bit of mascara to finish up the eyes. This is the Lash Trifecta from Milani. It's actually a really good mascara. It doesn't run, it lasts all day, and it does create some length to these curly lashes, and y'all know I'm all about that. So I was actually feeling my skin so much lately that I actually zoomed in just for y'all so you can get a shot of just these DSL lips. And I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills matte lipstick in the shade Naked. But y'all, I was just so happy that I felt confident enough to give y'all a close-up of my skin and my lips. So y'all can just get a lip shot. It's the first one ever. Drink it in. This is the final look. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join this crazy fab fam for more. And if you are a returning member, as always, welcome back, you beautiful soul. You are loved. Thank you for watching, y'all, and I will be back as always with another episode of FabuLex Makeup. Stay beautiful inside and out. We out.